in China, nobody cares about what you are doing. They don't care. Like it's like everybody's minding their business. It's like
Yes.
you do what you do, they don't care. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually liked it because I feel like that is how things are supposed to be.
Why you like that other Jim? Welcome back to my channel. Very soon I'll be introducing my guest to share his experiences about China. If it's something you like to watch, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Hi!
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Oh, by God's grace, I'm doing well.
Yeah, we thank God. Welcome
Oh,
to
you
my
look,
channel.
thank you. You look very good today. You look good.
Thank you. Thank
I,
you.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, do you mind introducing yourself?
Oh, okay. So my name is Imrana. Let's say, let me just give my full name.
Okay.
Imran Abdulaziz, and
Okay.
then as you know, I'm from Ghana, and then I was once in a while in China. I studied coastal engineering. That was master's
Okay.
degree, and then later on I moved to Beijing. Initially, I was in Nanjing actually. That
Okay.
is how I got to know. Um, you, Godfred, incredible people. You guys are
Yeah.
so lovely and friendly.
Thank
I appreciate that.
you. Thank
So I
you.
later on moved to Beijing, where I was
Okay.
doing my PhD,
Okay.
and then I actually did some programs, and then I started my research, and then now life happened, and then I found myself in a different country, and
Okay.
then I'm here today with you. Yeah,
Yes, yeah, here today with me.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So which year did you come to China?
Okay, so I actually came to China together with a few of my colleagues. Yeah, I
Mm.
don't know. I would like to mention their names here.
Okay.
I
Give them
actually
a shout
came.
out.
Yeah, so I came here with Wamble. I came here with Perpetual.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Lord Muda. You all know Lord Muda. Yeah. So
Yes.
and then Sarah Ba. I don't know whether
Okay.
you know her. That is Kinky's little sister. Yeah, actually,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
we
I remember.
yeah. So we boarded the same flight, and then we
Oh,
landed in China. Yeah, we landed in China the same day, and then Portia and then Godfred, Gossett, sorry, not Godfred, Gossett.
okay.
Incredible human beings. They are so good. That was actually our first time to meet them. They came to Shanghai to meet us. They picked us up, and then we all came to Nanjing. So I would like to mention their name and thank them for what they did. We really
Okay.
appreciate it. That was actually a nice gesture that they showed us. We don't know each
Yeah.
other anywhere, but they knew that we are new people in China, and there's a huge language barrier. We couldn't find our way, so they made it upon themselves to come and pick us up, and then we really appreciate that. I give them a shout out. Yeah. So um, I don't know whether I should continue because I feel like
You
probably you have
can.
some
You
questions.
can. You can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they picked us up, and then we came to it was a long journey actually. We stayed in the train, and then it took us from Shanghai to Nanjing, and then we got to Nanjing. They called a taxi, and then they took us to Ohio University. It was actually late in the night, around 2 a.m. So they had to call the IEs. That time we didn't even know what IE is. We didn't know what they say
Yeah.
IE. We said, what is IE? I was like, what is going on? So as of that time, Ben Carson was actually very good in Chinese, so they had to
Yeah.
call Ben Carson to come and help, like to talk to the IEs and then make things, to fast track things for us to get our rooms, and then so they did that for us, and then I think it was a Friday night, if I'm not
Mm.
wrong. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
Friday night. So it took us 2 days for us to go to the international school to register, like to do our registration and everything. Got our, visa application to go to the embassy to do our application. But then before that, we had to do medicals. As you know, every student that comes to China will have to go through that process.
Mm.
So, when I was coming to China, everybody, the excitement is there. I was excited, like, for the experience that I'm gonna get, like, to learn the
Yeah.
culture of a new country, to also explore the country and also immerse in my studies. But things happened, and then like things happened, and then COVID came. COVID came, and then
Yeah.
we had to be shut down. Oh my God, I don't want to
Oh.
remember those things. Oh my God, can you imagine finding yourself in a country you don't know how to speak their language? COVID came, and then everything, the country has to be shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a lot of things going. It was really challenging. It was really really sad because some of us, the excitement that we came with was no more there because we are like all
Yeah.
the time we are in our rooms. But anyway, things got better. We get to connect with people, our friends online. We also use the opportunity to learn the language, try to, abreast ourselves with the current situation. And I might say, COVID actually made some of us very strong and resilient because
Yeah.
it taught us patience, how to be patient,
Mm-hmm.
and then, things started going like, even though it was not the best, but then we were managing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, this is what happened. We had to move class from on offline, like that is in person, to now
Yeah.
online. So we're doing classes
Online.
online.
Mm.
And then, we finished our online courses, we did our research, and then thank God we were able to graduate. We bagged our degree. So I actually got another scholarship to go to Beijing to do my
Yeah.
PhD. And then, in between these years, a lot of things happening. If I want to go through all of this, it's going to take us a lot of time here. So I will
Yeah.
just, make it short. So
Yeah.
a lot of things happened. I got to Beijing. I started my PhD. And then, as you guys know, I was also doing some small, photography and videography stuff because
Yeah.
mankind had to get money into his pocket, right? So
Yeah. I
we had to
know.
do a whole lot of things to, to make a living.
Yeah.
Life happened, and then I find myself here in Canada. I'm in
Canada.
Calgary. Any old born or any past students of Ohio that is in Calgary,
Link
shout
up.
out, I'm here. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that is it. Mhm.
Okay, okay, okay. That was a nice intro. Yeah. So you mentioned COVID, right? So I guess you came in 2019.
Yes,
Oh, okay,
I came in
okay,
2019.
okay. So do you mind telling us the name of your first school?
My first school, I
Yeah,
mean, in China.
in China, yeah.
Okay, that is Hohai University. That is
Ohio
where
University.
actually, yes, that's where actually I met you. I met Godfred. You guys are
Godfred.
incredible. You are loving, like when I came to
Yeah.
Hohai first, the first place that we got to know was Godfred's place because we needed to go shave
Yeah.
our hair.
Yes.
We were also playing FIFA. We also play FIFA over
FIFA.
there. Yeah. And then you were selling sobolo and then
Meat
some
pie.
meat pies. So we used to enjoy ourselves whenever we come to your place. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Also, do you mind telling us the course you read in Ohio?
Oh, okay. I initially I was a TA, a teaching assistant
Mm,
in
mm,
Ghana at K
yeah,
University. So our then head of department, which is Professor Dai, if I'm mentioning the name
mm,
right. So
yeah,
one day he came up to us and told us that there's an opportunity for us to, go to China
mm,
to actually have our master's degree. So it was actually like something that it came up, and then they called all the TAs and they're like, oh, if you are interested, you can register with Professor Dai, and then
yeah,
we'll put in your application for you and then help you to get admission. So we did that. We were all excited because the excitement of going to a different country is always,
country.
yeah. So we were so excited about it. So we turned in our application, and then fortunately for us, we got admitted to go to China to study a master's degree in harbor, coastal, and offshore
Okay.
engineering. Yeah, so I was
Oh,
part of
okay.
the students. I was part of the students that came to study harbor, coastal, and offshore engineering. As I said,
Okay.
I came here with a few colleagues of mine. We were all back in K University,
Oh,
Perpetua,
okay.
Adom, Wamley. We all came from Ohio to study the same program. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Was that your first time ever traveling? I mean, coming to China, was that your first time ever traveling out of Ghana?
Yes, 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 yes. China was the first country that I ever traveled, like, like for the first time. That was the country I
Mm,
traveled to when I left my country, Ghana. Yes.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So before coming here, did you have any perceptions about China?
Oh, okay. For me, I don't know. I've always loved China because I used
Mm-hmm.
to watch a lot of Chinese movies. I used to watch a
Movies.
lot of Chinese dramas. I actually like, as of now, I still watch Chinese anime because I love
Okay.
their culture. I love the way, they display their culture. Beautiful people, I love everything about them, their food. So whilst I was in Ghana, before this idea of even coming to China came to
Mm.
be, I was already in love with the country. I
Yeah.
was already, trying to learn their language because I find it fascinating. A few people might disagree with me because they feel like Chinese is very difficult, but then you and I know that is once you start learning and once you start understanding what they're saying, you know that it's very beautiful. Like, yeah, very
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. And was that your first time being on the airplane?
Of course, yes, that was the first time I ever boarded a flight. It
How was the
was
experience?
well. At first it was scary because I cannot imagine myself
Up in the sky,
in
right?
that altitude. I was like, "What is going on? Are we gonna survive this?" It was scary at first. Then, as we actually spent like 21 hours in the flight, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, we use the Ethiopian Airways, and then we transit at Ethiopia, and then we came to Shanghai. Then use the train to go to Nanjing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was scary first because that was your first time taking
Mm,
boarding a flight, and it's taking you to that altitude.
yeah.
Altitude. You're like, oh my god, what is going on? What if this thing crashes? That kind of fear is
Yeah.
always there. But then it became normal because we realized that it was cool. There was nothing going on. So
Yeah.
some of us actually slept very well. Me, I slept very well.
Mm,
Some couldn't sleep, but me, I slept very well. It was a nice experience actually, and I really
okay.
appreciate that. I really appreciate China for giving me the opportunity to experience
Opportunity.
such beautiful, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to ask a question I've never asked here on my channel before. So before coming to China, how was the process like? You said your one of your department heads informed you there was an opportunity, right? So after he told you, how did you apply to get here?
Okay, so our process was actually it was fast tracked actually, because as of the time that we applied, the
Mm,
applications has already been closed for the school. But as I
yeah,
said, Professor Dai was once a student in Hoha University, so
yeah,
he had his influence in the school. So the school contacted him, and then as of that time, the school knew that he was the head of department for the civil engineering department. So they
okay,
contacted him, and then he told us about the opportunity. And all that we
that's
had to
fine.
do was just to, fill a form, turn in our application, and then wait for the results to come. So later on, we got into an interview with the school. They interviewed us, and then they told us
Mm,
that we'll be getting response very soon. So it
okay.
took us, I don't, would I say, maybe close to a month before the results
Mm,
actually came, and then
mm,
all those of us that applied, we all got admission into the
admission.
school. Sorry, I forgot to mention one person's name. That is
Okay.
Charlotte. Charlotte was
Okay.
also part of us. Yeah, Charlotte was also part of us, but she went home later
Okay.
on, and then when she went home, COVID came and she couldn't come back. So
Come back.
that's why
Okay.
I forgot to mention her name. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got admission and everything, and then I'm not really sure, but then there was a student from Hoha University that was going
Mm,
to Ghana as of that time. So
mm,
they gave our JW202. I know you know what
yeah.
JW202 is.
Yes,
They
yes,
they
yes.
gave it to him to come and hand it over to us so that we can use it to apply for our visas. So I'm really sorry, I don't remember the person's name, but
It's
I
fine.
yeah. So the person gave us the JW202, and then we had to
Mm,
go apply for the visa. To be
okay.
frank, it was not easy because you go to the embassy around 3 a.m. and then you
Mm,
go and meet a queue of about
you.
200 people. I'm like, what
Yes.
is going on here? 3 a.m. Trust me, it was not an easy task. We really,
Yeah.
we really went through a lot. And then we had to go do police report. We have to go to the foreign Minister of Foreign Affairs to get our, our documents authorized. We have to do a lot of legalization and stuff. So it was really, really, really not easy. But then we were able to overcome all these challenges, and then we finally bagged our visas. So, it was already too late for us because the school was really giving us pressure to come. So we needed to, buy our flight ticket as soon as possible. So that is actually the place where I got to meet some of my incredible friends. We have what do you call it? Sampana, Bright.
Yeah, Bright. Hi, Bright.
I actually met Bright at the embassy,
Okay.
I also met, and that is how we actually got to meet also Lord Muda, because Lord Muda was also there as of that time. So we actually planned it that we were going to buy our flight and travel together. So that's how come, like you see that myself, Wambele, Perpetual, Lord Muda, you see we travel together, to China. Yes. So the process was, it was straightforward, but a little bit challenging, actually.
Challenging. Yeah. Okay. And how was traveling together in a group like? I kind of envy you because I had to come here all by myself. Yeah, I didn't know anyone.
Yeah, so that is a very good question, a very good point. Actually, what my brother actually told me that since I got a visa together with my friends, it will be a good idea to actually travel together so that we are going to be each other's keepers. Once you are traveling, you don't know what can happen along the way. Nobody knows tomorrow, right? You don't know what will happen.
Yeah.
But then if you travel together, you're gonna be each other's keepers, right?
Keeper.
So once we got a visa, I quickly communicated with Wamley, communicated with Perpetua, communicated with the other guys. And then I think Lord Muda actually started the communication. He communicated with me. Lord Muda communicated with me first.
Yeah.
Then I also communicated with Wamley, Perpetua, and then the other guys. And then we decided to make sure that we bought the same flight. So we actually bought the flight and made sure that we were in the same flight so that at least we can travel together to be each other's keepers. In case there's anything, we'll be able to help each other. Yeah. And then beside that point, Godson also told us that since they were coming to pick us up, it would be a good idea that we actually come together, because if one person comes and then another person comes the next day, it will be difficult for them to organize and come and pick us up. So they also advise us that we should make sure that we are coming as a group so that it will fast track and streamline the whole process. Yeah.
Okay. Now you are in China, and then you said you had to travel from Shanghai to Nanjing, and I believe you came by train, right?
Yes. You are right.
How was the train experience like? Do we have trains in Ghana?
Well, we do have trains in Ghana, but not as sophisticated like the ones that we, actually boarded.
Yes.
For me personally, I'm not going to mince my words. I've never boarded a train before. I was living in Obuasi when I was in Ghana. During when I was a teenager, I was living in Obuasi, and then there's a train that passes through Obuasi. That passes anytime. Yeah, at any time we want to cross to the market, we have to actually pass the railway. So sometimes when the train is there, it's blocking the road. You have to enter the train to be able to go out to the other side of the road. So that was actually my first time. It's not really like boarding, it's just passing through it, so it doesn't count, right?
Yeah.
But then it was actually my first time boarding a very sophisticated, an advanced form of a train. That was my first time. And then whilst I was in it, I started calling my uncle. My uncle is also in another country, so I called him and it was like, how do you feel? How do you feel in the train? I was like, it's so exciting, Yeah, but then it was a little bit. We were a little bit tired, so it was kind of difficult for us because we had to, stay in the train for more than 1 hour.
Yeah.
Because from the airport to the train station, it's a very long, the distance is very long. It's not short. So we had to, and then unfortunately for us, we didn't get the opportunity to sit down because the train was already full. So we had to stand inside the train. So it took us more than 1 hour to get to the station. But then
Okay.
that soon changed when we went to the station. We now bought the train that took us from Shanghai to Nanjing, and
To
that one was
Nanjing.
like more advanced than the one we picked because that one was
Yeah.
traveling at a speed, maybe 350 kilometers per hour, if I'm not wrong.
Mm.
Yeah, like it was a high speed train, so it
Yeah.
was comfortable, and then we really enjoyed it. Some of us actually slept, and then we only woke up when we go to Nanjing.
Nanjing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, arriving in Nanjing, was it to your expectation?
I mean, everybody know Nanjing is very beautiful. Not just
Yeah.
Nanjing, the whole of China is very
China.
beautiful.
Yes.
I mean, as I always say, no matter where I find myself, I'm always going to respect China because when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to the way they do their technology, everything is so beautiful. Nanjing was really beautiful, and then Nanjing Nanjang, which is the Nanjing South Railway Station, it was
Yeah.
really beautiful. So when we got there, I was like, wow, so this is China. So I couldn't wait to immerse myself into the city life. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were kind of like a little bit overwhelmed with the joy and the excitement. Everything was like going on smoothly until
Yeah.
COVID came.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Okay. So before COVID came, um, did you start any class offline?
Yeah, I actually did we came, as I said, we landed in China in September. If
Mm.
I'm not mistaken, we landed around September 13 or the 14, one of them to
Mm.
September 13. We did
Yeah.
our registration September 16, and then right away we kickstarted our courses, and then it was in person. We had
Mm.
to go to the classrooms to study, like to prepare ourselves for our exams
Mm.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was not until December when the news started spreading that there's a deadly pandemic that is going on around the country and then other countries as well. So that was the time that China went into straight lockdown, and then
Yeah.
we had to push like the classes that we were doing in person to online. Yeah, so I think for the first semester of my studies, we were able to clear everything in person. For
Mm.
the second semester, we had to do everything online. Yeah.
Online. Okay. So I asked this because I wanted us or I want us to compare the education here in China to that of Ghana, since you've had a fair share of both. Are there any similarities? Are there any differences?
Okay, there are just a few similarities, and then there is a very enormous difference. Yeah. Based on my perspective, someone might
Mm.
see it differently, but based on my perspective, the only similarity is that there's a lecturer in the classroom, there are students in the classroom, and the lecturer is teaching, and the students are jotting down notes, and then they are actually absorbing or inculcating whatever the teacher is pushing to them. That is the only
Yeah.
similarity. But when
Mm.
it comes to the differences, I realize that I'm not gonna say Chinese educational system is not for us, but then it felt different because in back in Ghana, we were taking classes very seriously. It's not like in China we were not taking it seriously, but then what I say the English is I will just everything boils down to language barrier, right? Because
Yeah.
the languages, the way the teachers were speaking the English language, it was not really sinking in well for us because
Mm. Mm.
it was kind of like difficult for some of us to actually hear what they are
Actually,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was a challenge actually. It was a challenge, but then we were able to sail through it. We were able to sail through it. Unlike Ghana, everything that we do is everything that is our country, so everything is gonna go like the way we want it to go. But
Yeah.
here, you don't have a choice. You just have to make sure that you adhere to whatever principles or protocols that they give you. And the thing is that I'm not sure about those that did bachelor's degree in China. I don't know how they did it because I didn't do bachelor's in China. I did my master's degree, and I realized that most of the work you just have to do it yourself, because sometimes you even send a lecturer a message and then you don't get a response.
Yeah.
And sometimes getting data for your work is actually very difficult. I'm not saying that the lecturers are not doing their work well, but as I said, sometimes language barrier, how to even communicate with your lecturer is very difficult, because sometimes they don't understand us. And then sometimes when they speak, we don't get them. We don't get to, and then, we are talking about research here. You need to understand what you are doing before you can bring out a good research paper or good research work.
Yeah.
So it's quite difficult. But then, as I said, if you stay focused, organize, and prioritize your tasks, you do the right things, I think you'll be able to, pass through it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Do you speak Chinese?
Yeah, I speak a little bit of Chinese. I actually lost a lot of my Chinese ever since I came here, because I don't get anybody to speak
To
with.
speak with.
Yeah. So, Jao Moon Hao Moon
Okay.
Hao Moon.
Okay.
What you means to say Imurana.
Okay.
Ni ke show jun ma.
Idiot.
Ile de. Aya, ni pia wa wo bu shen shi ne ya.
Guys, let's
So
edit here.
so I try my best to be able to speak small Chinese. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
guys, what he said initially, the first one he said was his Chinese name was Imu. Imu what?
Moon Haoran,
Imu.
Moon
Yes.
Haoran.
And then
Moon Haoran, she Jongo Dasheren. Dasheren is like a poet. A poet, yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a great poet in China. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he went ahead to say his English name is Imran. Okay. And then in the beginning, he mentioned I. So in China, when you say I, it means auntie, right? But then when you come to the schools and you hear I, just like in other countries, you call them porters. Okay. Yeah. So I think in schools, um, just like in Ghana, we say porters. Yeah. So it's the same thing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I call him Aziz. So if you hear me say Aziz, yeah, it's the same as Imrana. Okay. What's your favorite Chinese food?
My favorite Chinese what?
Food.
Food. Oh,
Yeah,
come on, you know the answer now.
I don't know.
Everybody, I think Ghanaians per se, our favorite Chinese food is Ganamanji.
You know I don't
I'm
like that
calling
food.
Ghana Minji because the Hawaiian University student actually named it according to Ghanaians. They call it Ghana Minji. So my
Okay.
favorite Chinese food is actually Huan
Farm.
Minji. Huan
Yeah,
Minji. Yeah. I think
yeah,
that's braised
yeah.
chicken, right? Yeah.
Yes. You know, I am not a fan of chicken, so I don't really like
Oh, okay. I see.
it.
But then they have other alternative. You can get it like beef or pork. That is if you take
Yeah,
pork.
but
Yeah.
it's not about me, but guys, I still find it difficult to eat Chinese food. I don't know why. After 11 years in China.
Oh my God, you are really missing out. You are really missing out. You should just try and force yourself. Try
I'm not
it.
good
Oh
at
my God.
trying new foods.
Oh my God. Uh, since I came here, I've been hunting for Chinese foods like crazy.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay, don't worry, we'll send you some. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any cultural shocks?
Like in China, a lot of
Yes.
culture shock. Oh my God.
Okay.
So my first culture shock was, excuse me to say this, because sometimes
Mm,
when you say certain things online, certain people see it in a different way. But this is
yeah.
not to laugh or to say something bad about the Chinese culture. As I
Yeah.
said, everybody has
Mm,
their culture, and I
yeah.
respect everyone, irrespective of your race. I am
Mm-hmm.
actually someone who is actually in for diversity inclusive, because
Yeah.
that is the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
the first culture shock that I experienced was spitting. Oh my God.
Yeah.
There was a time that I actually traveled from Nanjing. I told you that I went to Beijing to do my PhD, right?
Mm,
So time and again, I always come to Nanjing to meet some of my friends. Then I'll go back. And then one day I decided, oh my God, why did I make that decision? I decided to use the slow train.
Slow train.
Yes. And then trust me, oh my God. Can you imagine the old people? The old people, they like
Mm,
those farmers, they were spitting
mm,
in the
mm,
train.
mm,
I was
mm.
like, oh my God, it was very bad, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second culture shock I had was I realized that Chinese don't really care about what you are doing, you know?
Mm.
In Africa, let me just be specific, in Ghana,
In
because
Ghana,
I
yeah.
have never been to other African countries. I don't know how they do
Mm,
their stuff.
mm,
But like in Ghana, let's just say you are walking and you are dragging your feet.
mm.
You will have about 15 to 20 eyes looking in your direction while you are dragging, why
Yeah.
this person is dragging. Yeah. You know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
everybody cares about what everybody is doing. It's like
Yeah.
they just want to, like I want to say, I don't want to say they are like a meddling snakes. They want to meddle
Mm.
in everything that you do. Like they want to
Mm.
know. But in China, nobody cares about what you are doing. They don't care. Like it's like everybody's minding their business. It's like
Yes.
you do what you do, they don't care. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually liked it because I feel like that is how things are supposed to be.
Yeah.
The only bad side of it is that let's just say you find yourself in the street and somebody's marking you. When I say
Mm.
marking, like somebody is having a physical assault to you,
Mm.
they just
Mm.
watch and they pass, they don't care.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
In Africa, you are sure to get somebody who will come to your aid.
Mm.
But they don't care. They just pass. Somebody could just fall down, die, and then they will just look and then take their phone, take photos and videos. They don't care. And I feel
Yeah.
like that is not the right thing to do. But then, as I said, everyone's and then their culture, so you cannot dictate what is right for them or what is not right for them. So
Yeah.
we are all entitled to what we feel is right. That's why
Mm.
they always say that you're all right and as someone's knows. We get it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
It's true.
then my last one is, anytime we go out and this especially Nanjing was not really that, but in Beijing it was so bad. They just see you, hey Ren, and they will just take their phone and start taking
Oh.
you photos, taking you videos. Oh my God. I don't like that. I hate that. you know, they said they start taking. There was a time that I went to the zoo, and
Mm.
instead of them to
Concentrating on the animals.
concentrate on the animals, I was rather like their favorite animal. They were now looking at me, taking photos, and I'm like, what the? I don't want to use the F word. What is going on
Yeah.
here? What is going on here? But as I said, they are beautiful people. They are incredible.
Yeah.
I really love Chinese, and ever since I came here, I've seen a lot of Chinese, and sometimes I communicate with them, and then they are always happy to see me speaking their language, and they're like,
Yeah.
someone even actually said I speak Chinese better than she does
Yeah. Yeah.
because she has left China for a very long time, and then
Mm.
she's starting to forget her culture. So sometimes when I see them, we just talk. I love the culture. I love their way of life, and then they are incredible people. As I said, if you
Mm.
take your time to study them, you get to know that they are really nice people. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So coming from Ghana, you had never experienced winter.
Yeah.
How was it like your first time experiencing winter?
Okay, so when we got here, the
Mm.
first thing that I was expecting we came here when it was hot, right? September,
Yeah.
it's
Mm.
very hot in China. Oh my God, especially in Nanjing. It's
Mm.
very, very, very hot because there's a heat wave. I wouldn't say,
Yeah.
I think it's a wave, it's a heat wave that
Mm.
just sweep across the whole city. And trust me, it is unbearable. Like I really, really suffered. I'm like, what is going on here? But then I thought that was the worst. I didn't know that there was something coming that was far more dangerous than that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So winter came, and then when around October, November thereabout, it's not really that cold. So I was like, these people always say it's winter, winter. I was thinking that
Winter.
I was gonna meet something scary. Oh, I was wrong. I was wrong. Like December, January, February, I was like, wow, this is actually winter. And then the thing that actually made it more severe and intense was the
Mm.
way Ohio University built, like building 21, the way it
Mm.
was built is different.
Mm.
They build it in such a way that it contains the cold air and the cold environment because
Yeah.
during summer, it can be very hot. So they made it in
Yeah.
such a way that during summer the room will still be cold and then
Mm.
very good for human to live in. But
Yeah.
then during winter time, oh my God, the room was extremely cold, like more than cold.
Cold.
Trust me,
Yeah.
because sometimes you go outside and it's even warmer outside
Warmer
than inside.
outside.
So that is what actually made it, a little bit,
Mm.
very, very severe. But that soon changed when I went to Beijing,
Mm.
because Beijing actually they have a centralized heating system.
Heater. Yeah.
Yes, so our rooms have these heat sinks. Actually, I have some in this room too as well. So they
Mm-hmm.
had these heat sinks that it actually regulates the temperature, in the room, and then it was
Mm.
actually very good. The
Mm.
only thing is that once you go outside, you meet a different story. But once you are inside, you're
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
because it is
True.
actually very cold in Beijing compared to
Mm.
Nanjing.
Nigeria.
But as a student, I was always doing my research in my room, so I used not to really go out that much. So I
Mm.
felt like it was, okay for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What did you like most about China?
What did I like most?
Mm.
As I said earlier on, I love their culture. I love
Mm.
the Chinese language. If the IEs were here, they would testify. I used to disturb them a lot. Every day, once I go out and I'm going into my room, I just have to stand by and talk to the IEs. I'm like, "Aye,
Mm.
ni hao ma." Yeah, they were like, "Ah, mu hao ra." I used to speak a lot with them.
Mm.
Because I was finding some kind of excitement and a sense of fulfillment. I'm somebody, when I learn new things, I want to express it out. That's how I work.
Yeah.
If I learn a thing and I don't speak it out, or if I don't express myself, I tend to forget. So whenever I learn a new thing, I try to, bring it out, talk to people, and it sticks to my head. So I used to disturb them a lot, and then I love the language. But then the number one thing that I loved really about China is their food. Yes.
Yeah.
I really, really like Chinese food. I wouldn't say it's not expensive, but then if you look at it critically, it's actually very affordable.
Affordable.
Because with just 7 yuan, 10 yuan, 8 yuan, you can get yourself breakfast, you can get yourself some
Mm.
food. Unless you want to garnish your food with, the
Yeah.
intricacies, as Kojo would say, the conundrums. The conundrums of the alacrities. If you want to add
Yeah.
this one, then probably you'll be paying around 15 yuan per meal.
Yeah.
But
Which
actually,
is
it
still
was actually very,
affordable.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's still affordable. Yeah. And then, that is actually drastically reduced if you want to cook your own food. That is, if you
Yeah.
want to buy your own food stuffs and then you cook, and then everything becomes so affordable. Yeah.
Mm.
So basically, I love the Chinese food. I love the language. I love the people, especially the older ones, because, once they see you, they want to talk to you, they want to interact with you. So I love the Chinese. And then also, I love the way that you can sit in your room and just order food, buy things
Yeah.
online. In Nanjing, that is Bohai University. Whenever
Mm.
we get Kwaide, we had to go to the Kwaide Center to receive our Kwaide, right? So,
Yeah.
and then even with that one, we were actually very happy doing that because we felt like
Mm.
it was safe. There's not
Yeah.
a day that you go and then you're like your Kwaide is missing or something. Even if it
Yeah.
is missing, there's a way for you to retrieve your money from the,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the
The
product,
seller.
the
Yeah.
seller. Yeah. But then, um, when I went to Beijing, it actually changed. Why? Because I didn't even have to go out there to pick my package.
Mm.
The
Mm.
package was delivered right at my doorstep. So I just have to
Understood.
walk to my doorstep and just pick my package. So it makes
Okay.
everything easier. Yeah.
Okay. Any bad experiences in China?
Um, so there are quite some bad experiences that I had in China. I feel like the Chinese system is not actually made for foreigners.
Mm.
Why am I saying this? Because there are a lot of there are circumstances where you go to access some public facilities or
Mm.
certain things, and they will tell you that foreigners are not allowed here.
Yeah.
It makes that
Or
felt
you
like
need a Chinese ID card.
yes, to be able to do certain things. Can you
Yeah.
imagine that there are some products on Taobao? For you to be
You
able to
can.
buy it, you need a Chinese friend to buy it for you. Like
Yes.
you cannot
With
buy
their
it yourself.
ID card. Yeah.
Yes. So there's a whole lot of things that I felt like, as I said, I'm not a government. I cannot tell them what to do. But then to
Mm-hmm.
me, I felt like it was, I didn't like it because it was not really good. When I was doing my PhD in Beijing, we went for some sites, kind of like educational sites, and then they're like foreigners cannot enter the facility. Sometimes I feel like they feel like we are coming to steal their technology and then send it back to our country. So, and I understand them. I understand them because they
Yeah.
are trying to protect their own technology, and then I understand
Mm.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just a few things that and then yeah, in Nanjing, I think in Nanjing, I never had any issue, but in Beijing, I as I said earlier, I'm not here to criticize the Chinese to say they
Mm.
are bad people or whatever. So I face quite some few racism in Beijing. People meet you and they close their nose, and then when they see you passing this road, they take the other road.
Mm.
Those are some experience that I did not really like. But then,
Mm.
as I said, it's normal
Yeah.
because you cannot force somebody to think like the way you think or to believe in your ideologies or whatever. So
Yeah.
everybody have their right to think the way they want to think. So I felt like it's normal, but then it's part of the experience that I did not like. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And guys, like he said, don't come for him. He has said so many good things about China. The bad ones he said are just a few. Okay. So
Yes.
be calm with your comments. Anyway, so you were here without your family. How was it like living in China without your family?
It was quite challenging. If you look at the function of a family, it's like it's a provision of protection, a
Mm.
basic need, shelter. But then you go to a new country and then all these things are absent. You don't get it. You don't have anybody to cry to. You don't get anybody to advise you. All that you have is your friends around you, the good ones that advises you when you are in trouble or when you are down. They are there for you. So it was quite challenging, especially when COVID came. Some people actually they ran home because they felt like it was too much for them. They couldn't take the depression that they were getting. Yeah, so it was quite difficult. Me personally, for me it was difficult, but then as I said, COVID taught us to be patient and then also resilient. So I was able to pass through the system, and then it has taught me a lot. Sometimes you just have to fight because you cannot always be in your comfort zone. There are days or there are certain times that you find yourself alone, and then you need to pass through or you need to tackle a problem alone. So I wouldn't say it's a good thing, but that we had to go through that. But as I said, it has taught us how to be strong and also be resilient in our ways. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Would you advise anyone to come to China?
That is a very big question. I don't know whether I feel comfortable answering this
Okay.
question. The
Yeah.
thing is that everyone is different, right? Everyone
Mm.
is different. So what I would say is that it depends on what the person wants. If you are the type that you want to go to China to study, like to get your degree, whether it's master's degree or PhD or whatever you're going, whether if that is your primary aim, that is your primary dream, you want to go get your degree, you want to bag that degree, and then return to your country and then work for your country, then I will advise you to go to China because China is a
Mm.
very peaceful country, very peaceful. You can go out around 2 a.m., 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about you.
Without being
As
attacked.
yes, no one cares about you. You'll be fine. And it's also beautiful. Like
Yeah.
um, China is very beautiful. Trust me. I've gone to
Mm.
South Korea. I've seen how South Korea look like. I've gone to China. And I've been in China, right? I've been in Canada. I know how Canada look like. But then trust me, China is really beautiful. When it comes to transportation, I think in the whole world, when it comes to public transportation, China is actually leading in public transportation
Yeah.
because it's really, really, really convenient. You don't actually need a car to drive in China. So I'll advise anybody that is if you're going for the school, not anything
Mm.
else, that is good.
Yeah.
But if you are
Yeah.
the type that but if you're the type that you have another agenda, you are trying to go to China to have to have a living, like to form a life, like to have a family, to like anything other than anything other than school, then I would advise you that you can do that, but then try to find a plan B. When I say plan B,
Yeah.
try to find, like, a way to live, because we are not young, we are not growing younger, we are growing
Yeah.
older, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
as time goes on, you need to have a family, you need to try to stay and then be stable. But here in China, it's very difficult to have that life. I've not heard China giving permanent residency or giving citizenship to foreigners, especially Black people. I
Mm.
know other people would have gotten the opportunity to get permanent residency and citizenship, but then I'm yet to see Black person. I'm not saying Black people don't get the opportunity. I know some Black people would have gotten the opportunity, and I think it's very,
A
very difficult.
few. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just a
yeah, it's very,
few.
very difficult. So if you want to have a family, have a life, and then a stable life, or not just a life, a stable life, then China might not be a place for you, because you won't get that. When I was in Beijing, I had a friend called Ike. He has stayed in China for 12 years. One day he called me and he's like, he just went to renew his visa, and then they told him that he should just leave the country. Just like that. And
Wow.
then the reason is that he has stayed in the country for too long. He should
Too
leave.
long.
And then unfortunately for him, they gave him just 10 days to leave.
Oh,
Somebody who has lived in the country for 12 years, he has a
12
lot of
years.
things. He has an apartment with a lot of sofas, with a lot of things. Can you use 10 days to pack everything and leave?
No.
It's going to be quite difficult. So you see what I'm saying? So it's actually very difficult for you to have a life here. So if you want a life like any other than education, you want something else, then once you get to China, you have to start looking for plan B, because if you have the aim of staying there forever, it's not possible. You are not going to get
Yeah.
that stability. That is what I have to say. But then, as to whether I would advise somebody to come to China, it all depends on the person. I don't want to say come or don't come.
Yeah, it
I was
depends
in
on
China. I was in
you.
China. I enjoyed China. China was beautiful. As I said, has a very beautiful culture, very vibrant city life. You see buildings, beautiful technology, beautiful infrastructure. Everything is so beautiful, and they have incredible human beings there. They are friendly. Uh, you know, Everything is so nice. But then that is my opinion. That is
Yeah.
my opinion. Yeah. So I wouldn't sit here and tell somebody not to go to China, or advise somebody to go to China. So I feel like the person can do their research well, as to whether that place is a good place for them, or it's not a good place for them. So it's all depends on the person. Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever go home? I mean, go back to Ghana?
I never went home. Ever since I left Ghana, I've never gone back home. Okay, so ever since I left home, that is my country, Ghana, a very beautiful, peaceful country. I
Yeah.
love Ghana, but then it's sad that I've not returned home ever since I left. I think 2019 to 2025, that is like close to 6 years.
Yeah.
September will be my 6 years out of China, out of Ghana. Sorry.
Ghana. Yeah.
Yes.
Your family back home, they've missed you, so you have to find a way of going back to see them.
Definitely, definitely. That is actually the plan. I might be able to reunite with them maybe coming December. Who knows?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So family, watch out. Anyway, did you travel within China? I mean, visit other cities?
Yes, I did. I did. I traveled to quite. I wouldn't say a lot of cities, but I went to some cities. I don't know. Let me just mention a few.
Okay.
Sometimes I might not mention the name well, but probably you just have to forgive me.
Yeah,
I went
fine.
to this city called. I went to Shanghai. Definitely, everybody have gone to Shanghai before.
Yeah.
I went to Ningbo. I went to Hangzhou. I went to Taitang. I went to Suzhou. The one with the S, not the X.
Okay, yeah, Suzhou.
Yeah. I was in Beijing. I went to Tianjin. Tianjin is very close to what do you call it, Beijing.
I've been to Tianjin before.
Yeah, I also went to Qingdao. I don't know whether I'm saying it right. It's in the
I think it's
Qingdao is more. I
Qingdao.
think Shandong.
Qingdao.
Qingdao.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Shandong
Qingdao
province.
in
Yeah,
the Shandong province.
yeah.
Am I right? Yeah.
Yes, yes. It's actually
I
the
went to Qingdao.
capital of Shandong province.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
great. If you see one of my WhatsApp, I was standing close to the sea, and then I did
Mm,
my hands like this. I took a photo at the sea at Qingdao, and then I actually went there for a conference that I went with my supervisor for a conference, and that is how I got
mm,
to, go to Qingdao. I also
mm.
went to this one of the cities close to Beijing. That city is surrounding Paitang. I don't know. Let me see if I can remember. I don't remember, but then it is very close to Beijing. It's like 3 hours drive, and that one
Okay.
too. I went with my supervisor. It was we used his car to go there. Yeah.
Mm,
So basically, these are the few. Oh,
mm.
have I gone anywhere else? Let me see. Um, I think that's all.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's all.
okay. So now you are outside China. What do you miss most now that you've left China?
As I said earlier, I miss the peaceful nature of the place. I miss the beautiful people. I miss the food. I miss everything, the convenience you get. You sit in your room and then you just order things. You just buy things online. I'm here. I still buy things from China.
Wow.
Yes, yes, I still buy things from China. I use my good friend Adam. Adam is a
Okay.
very incredible person.
Hi,
He's Yes,
Adam.
yes. Adam is really, really friendly. I appreciate him a lot. I think
Mm,
he's one of those friends that I can closely relate. We
mm,
talk even till now. I
mm.
speak with him every day. Just before we even started this our meeting, I was on a call with him. He's a
Okay.
very, very good person. Adam has actually introduced me to a lot of things that I never imagined that I would be doing.
Mm,
As you can see, I said I was a photographer, right?
yeah.
I was a photographer, and
Mm,
then I was. It was the inspiration actually I came from one of my friend called Brian. I don't know whether you know him. He's also a
okay.
photographer. I used
Yeah,
to
I
see
think I
Brian
know
with
him.
yeah, I used to see
Yeah.
Brian with cameras, and he was my friend. So I was like, okay, this guy is doing great things. I really like the crafts, the creativity that came from his work. You know, but then one day I was in my room. You know Frankie, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I was in my room, and
Mantis.
then Frankie, wherever Frankie is, Frankie, shout
He's closer to
out.
you. He's in the US.
Yes, yes, I know. So
Mm,
Frankie came to me, and I was doing some graphic design work, and Frankie was like,
mm.
you can do graphic design work. I was like, yeah. It's like, then why are you not selling on Fiverr? Then I'm
Ah,
like, sell on Fiverr. I'm like, okay. And he's like, if I'm interested, I can contact Adam. That's what he told me.
yeah.
So when I was in Ghana, I'm kind of like a tech savvy. I'm somebody who likes the internet. I like
Mm, mm.
meddling with technology. I like technology stuff, right? So
Yeah.
I created Fiverr in 2016. Actually, when I
Mm,
was in K University, and I was trying to be a freelancer, but you know how difficult it is to do this kind of thing
yeah.
from Ghana
Yeah.
because you need payment platform like PayPal and other payment platforms. So it was quite difficult. So I created an account and then I left it. I actually did not use it. So I went to Edem. That is how Edem and I started, getting very close to each other. So I told Edem that, Frankie told me that I can sell on Fiverr. And then
Mm,
Edem was like, yeah. So Edem now explained everything to me.
mm.
So he explained everything to me, and then he got me on board. I didn't have a camera as of that time, so I created an account. I was already having an account with Fiverr, so I just had to create a gig. So I created a gig offering photography service in China, and then I started
Mm,
getting people that were coming to my profile.
yeah.
So I will then coordinate with Adam. I will use his camera to take the photos.
Yeah.
Then I'll be able to get money. So I realized that it was actually a good business, and I bought
Mm,
my own camera. Then
yeah.
I started, and then that is how Adam and I started getting really close. And then I really
Mm,
appreciate him. As I said, he's an incredible human being. I
yeah.
like him, and then he's a good person. I think anybody that is close to him will testify what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I've never had any issue with Adam. I've never
Mm.
had any argument or anything whatsoever with him. He's
Yeah.
just, he's just like forthcoming. Like he's a good person. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's one person that I really miss. I really miss. You're asking me what I
Yeah.
miss about China, right? So
Yes.
he's one person that I really miss. I also
Yeah.
miss my good friend Perpetua. I miss my good friend Wembley. I miss everyone. Godfred, Godson, I miss everybody, but I miss the food more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, given the opportunity, would you come back to China?
It depends on what I'm coming back to China to do.
Okay.
So if I'm coming back to China to stay, that is going to be a no. But
Mm.
then if I'm coming to China, let's just say to do business or to come as a tourist or to come see family and friends, of course I
Mm.
will do that because China is a lovely country. But
Mm.
then if I'm coming to live China, I'm leaving Canada to go to China to stay, then
Mm.
I don't think I'll ever make such a decision. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm being
Okay.
honest.
Yeah. 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 Okay. All too soon, we've come to the end. Thanks, Aziz, for availing yourself.
Okay, thank you very much for having me. I really
Um.
appreciate you. As I
Yeah.
said, you guys are very, very, incredible people. Godfrey shaved my hair several times. I drank your sobolo. I ate your meat pie. You guys actually showed us some love. When we came, we didn't know anybody,
Yeah.
right? We used to come to
Yeah.
your place. And then we were quite a lot of people that used to come to your place, and you guys didn't have
Mm.
any problem with that accommodating
Not
us.
at all.
Sometimes we play FIFA till 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and you guys never bothered. And we really appreciate that. I really appreciate you. Thank you very much for
You're
all those
welcome.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay. And I'm also grateful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to all the people out there watching us, please kindly subscribe to her channel. She's a
Yes.
very incredible person. She's gonna give you a lot of information. It's gonna give you a lot of breathtaking things that is happening in China. So do out and then hit that like button and
Subscribe.
then subscribe to her channel and then follow her for more
Yeah.
amazing things. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay,
Okay.
guys. Yeah. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed watching. Okay. Bye.